Hello everyone, my name is Georgia Newman. I'm the Visual Arts Manager at Quay Arts on the Isle of Wight. Thank you for joining this Zoom talk with myself and artist Susie Prangnell. Susie is currently showing in our cafe area, and the exhibition started in October, and unfortunately due to lockdown 2.0, we had to close our doors, and no one else could see the show, so hence why we're going to do a little talk. And forgive us, we're fairly new to Zoom, but we're going to run through a few Q&As and show you some of the work. The exhibition is going to be extended until January 2021, so when we do reopen, everyone will get a chance to view the exhibition, and the exhibition is also available to view online. So I'm just going to introduce Susie. She's an artist based on the Isle of Wight. She has selected exhibitions at the Gallery Holt in Norfolk, Quay Arts, St Barbe Gallery Museum in Lymington, Rum's Egg Gallery in Romsey, and recently she won First Prize Catalogue Award for the 121st Pastel Society exhibition at the Mall Galleries. So we're really excited to have you with us today, Susie. Hello.
Hello, Georgia. Thank you.
So to kick things off with the exhibition titled Balance, could you tell us a little bit about why the exhibition is called Balance?
Well, I'm fascinated by contrasts and opposing ideas, and I like to express this in my work by creating a tension or a sense of movement or energy in the painting. So I hope to use colour and shapes and marks so that the work is balanced between wildness and constraint, for instance, or the hidden and the apparent, or fragility and resilience. All these themes really interest me, and one of the pieces is called Castle in the Sand. And to illustrate this, it's a painting about ideas of home and the effects of constant change, both on ourselves and the wider world we live in. So the ideas of comfort and security are really contrasted by precariousness and the potential destruction, which we all could face in the event of global warming, whatever.
Or a pandemic.
Or a pandemic.
It feels very now, and yeah, I think everyone can relate to that. With the physicality of the work, the pastel itself is sometimes sort of seem to be more associated with works by the Impressionists, with Romantic artists, but your style in particular is more, I say, more reminiscent of Howard Hodgkin or Kandinsky. So with the softness of the pastel, there is still this very gestural and hard approach to mark making, which also creates this balance between the two, wouldn't you say?
Definitely, it's an interesting idea, that, Georgia. I think also with pastel, I'm really intrigued by the fact that you're essentially painting with dust, and yet you can create big gestures and tiny little marks and very fine marks and a whole range of different values and techniques you can use to create an interesting image. So, you know, there are lots of aspects of pastel that intrigue me, and I'm a great romantic, so I often think, well, a rudimentary form of pastel was used to create humankind's very first known artworks in cave paintings, and I'm just a romantic, so that intrigues me. It's pure pigment as well. It doesn't have much binder or carrier in it, so you have great intensity of colour, and I really like matte, so you can really smush it in, and using my hands is really important to me, making that connection with the support, physically getting my hands dirty. I just love that. And in terms of colours as well, I find that I'm able to be more expansive in my use of colour and a palette, because I have it all at my disposal. All my pastels are laid out in trays in colour order, so I can just go. I don't have to think about mixing. I can just, that's the one.
Right, very organised.
I am quite organised in that respect, yes.
So when you begin to work on a piece, you use your hands quite a lot. Obviously, it's quite physical. Presumably, you have a studio space you can work in.
I do, yes. I'm very, very lucky to have a lovely studio in the garden. So I have about a 10-step commute to work every day.
Brilliant,
Yeah,
perfect.
and plenty of room for my pastels, which is great.
And
So
when you start to work on a piece, what sort of feelings arrive when you start, or what's the general sort of process for you when you begin a new work?
well, the work always starts, a finished piece always starts with hundreds probably of preparatory pieces. So these can be small sketches, landscape sketches, so go out and sketch in the landscape. It's wonderful, love it. And collage pieces, mark making, free drawing, writing even. So when I start a finished piece, it's a conglomeration of all these different bits that are coming together and ideas start to flow. So if I finally decide that I'm going to make a big piece, if I've created a composition that really interests me and the ideas and connections are starting to come, then that's a wonderful thing. I start with the big gestures first, the main colours, the main areas, the compositional marks that I need. But then as the painting progresses, it gets, how should we say, I work smaller and smaller and smaller and finer, and it takes longer and longer. But I do feel on a good day in the studio, it's definitely a sense of exhilaration. Which is wonderful. It's also meditative because there's a dialogue going on between me and the painting, and sometimes I'm having to think about what the painting wants. So I don't stick very rigidly to a plan. I'm trying to paint relatively intuitively. I have a plan in mind and I have it up beside the easel, my compositional notes, colour studies, blah, blah, blah. But I want to be open to what the painting is needing.
And you say you do a lot of preparatory work outside. So do you take some direct influence from the landscape or the sea, or what other sort of influences do you find within your work?
Well, I do very much enjoy the landscape and the wilder places where people free. And I think that's really important to me with my work. I used to do a lot more abstract style landscape, should we say, than I do now, because my work is probably more abstract than landscape now, but I still do both. And I love it. It's definitely my main influence.
And am I right in thinking that you didn't come from a sort of a traditional art education? Your parents sort of dismissed you wanting to sort of study arts after A levels. Is that right? Would you mind telling us a bit?
Yeah, definitely, Georgia. I would say I was thoroughly discouraged. I was able to go. I had a place to go to art college for a foundation course, but my parents were against it because it is difficult to make a living as a fine artist. I don't think there's any doubt about that. You have to have other things to offer. But I had a childhood where we had Van Gogh posters around the house, and he was my earliest influence. I love his paintings, the energy, the passion in them and the intensity. So I've always painted throughout my childhood, encouraged to paint and make things. And I had excellent tutors at A level, and I learnt a huge amount from them. Very, very valuable experience. But after that, I didn't go to college. I've done other things in my life, but I've never let up. The passion has never left me, and I've always studied and worked on my practical skills, gone to exhibitions and galleries, and just worked on finding my voice as an artist. And I can't say it's been easy, it hasn't, but I'm getting there, and I hope it doesn't stop.
Well, it's truly encouraging, because obviously it's very difficult, I think, for young people to make a decision at such a crucial point in their lives, and now with the complexities of what's happened this year, and for many art students to not even have an end of year degree show, that sort of physical aspect of being part of exhibitions, of making work, is feels like a little bit lost. Although people and young people and people like yourself are still making work, that is the one thing that has continuously been going on throughout this this lockdown period. And good work, really good work, really, really strong. And for those that are looking to pursue a career in the arts, any young people watching now, what sort of advice would you give them if they were considering looking at choosing a career in the arts or creative industries?
Well, I think going to university in itself and getting an art education formally, that's very much down to the individual. I think you do have to probably work hard, even harder, without that behind you, because it does give you a level of confidence, which I think I've lacked all these years. But find out what you love and work on it. If you have that drive to be creative, there will be something that you are wonderful at, and I would say exploit it. But be open to being adaptable and taking opportunities to change. Be prepared for disappointment and failure as well, because that's all part of it, but we learn from failure. So, you know, you have to be realistic sometimes, but work every day. That's what I'd say. Keep at it, work every day, do something, read, do a sketch, whatever it is, do a bit of sewing, whatever your thing is, do a little bit every day and keep at it. Internet is wonderful for keeping up contacts with other creatives. That their support would be very, very important, I think. Get some feedback, sharing knowledge, all that type of thing, and the discipline too of thinking of a working life which is self-employed and freelance. You need to have admin skills, you need bookwork, you need to know how to manage money, time management, and of course internet, web sales, marketing, blog, all those things that are very important these days.
Yeah, oh, they certainly are, and you're not really taught them. I mean, I certainly wasn't anyway. I mean, at university, I don't think they necessarily put too much sort of stress on young people to think about that, because, you know, ideally you want to be thinking about making the work, but it's a very realistic point, you know. And yeah, of course, tax returns are no fun. Done. You know, we are in a fantastic digital era at the moment where we can view everything online practically. You know, we're very pleased that your work is online. So we can see it, we can view it. So it's a little taster there for those that haven't been over to Quay Arts yet. And this talk will be available online. All of the work is available to purchase as well. So people can even take some work away for a special Christmas gift. And the exhibition will be extended until January 2021. So we're very, very thrilled to be hosting your work in the cafe, and look forward to seeing everyone come into our building when we reopen. And I'd like to thank you very much, Susie, for that wonderful talk about your work, your practice, your background, and we look forward to seeing more of your work in the future in other exhibitions.
Thank you very much, Georgia. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.